Hi guys, welcome back. So this is a follow-up video to my previous one about depression. I'm sorry this took so long, but I've got work outside YouTube and I've had a crazy busy week. But today I am here and we can finally talk. This one will be a lot longer because I feel like I don't have to rush this. I feel like we can just, sit down and relax and talk a bit. So, first of all, I need to make an intro because I did leave a disclaimer at the very bottom of the previous one, but I don't think many people read it. So, first of all, I myself have never ever suffered from depression. I've been very close for many years now to people who do suffer from depression, who are bipolar. I also had a pretty long talk with someone who suffers from depression before I wrote that video, so that is why it might seem to be pretty accurate. Many people have asked me, how do you decide whether you do suffer from depression or not? So I myself am a pretty tormented soul. I can be a very sad human being, but I was always able to go through the ups and downs on my own. I always had a very definite purpose. My life always had a very definite purpose. And that is why I know I have never suffered from depression, even though I can feel very sad sometimes. So if some of these symptoms persist for more than 2 weeks, you should definitely go and see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I made the previous video because many people still seem to think that depression is something you choose, that all of this is black and white, and it actually has many shades of grey. Now, it's not an excuse for being lazy. Depression is very often caused by the chemical reactions that go on in your brain, and that is mainly why you cannot control it. I am in no position to give you any advice on how to cope with depression because I have never suffered from depression and I am not a specialist. But what I can tell you for sure is that you have to go and see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Usually a mix of these two works best, and because all of this is based on the chemical reactions that go on in your brain, you probably won't be able to get rid of your depression if you do not take proper medication. And please do not listen to anyone who tells you not to go and see a doctor and who tells you not to take medication. I've seen so many people get well after going on medication that I am almost 100% sure that this is the only way to go about it. I also made that video for people who do suffer from depression to show them that they are not alone and that many people actually understand them. I wanted them to ask for help because many of them are usually very scared of being laughed at and they seem to be ashamed of their depression, and I am just here to tell you that it's not just your imagination. Also, many people have a problem with kind of pouring their emotions into words, so I thought I might lend a helping hand with that one as well. Finally, moving on. This one will not be a video about how to cope with depression. It won't be a video about how to help people who are depressed. It will be about how to live with them and how to make living for both sides as comfortable as it can get. Because I think that whenever we talk about depression, we just talk about people who suffer from depression, but we tend to ignore the people that live with them. And believe me, living with them, especially when someone is bipolar, can be a very tough experience. And I just realized that I really wish I had someone at the very beginning of my journey with depression who would have told me the things that I am about to tell you right now. So I am pretty sure that things would have been a lot easier for me. I had to learn the hard way, but maybe thanks to that I have a pretty good understanding of how things work, and finally I am here today to help you out. This is not a strict set of rules that you have to live by, but I think that these will be pretty universal. So finally, moving on. I'm sorry that intro was very long, but I had to take it all off my chest. So moving on. Tip number 1, do not say things like, get a grip, I don't know why you're complaining, what else do you need? Because this never ever helps. It can only make things worse, because people might feel ashamed they are not able to live up to your expectations. As I've said before, depression is very much beyond their control. Tip number 2, don't be overprotective. If someone does not want to discuss the problem, don't press them, but never ever back away for good. Give them space to breathe and come back after a while and ask again. Most people actually finally open up and they find it quite liberating to discuss the problem. They just need to know that there is someone out there who looks out for them. Tip number 3, encourage them to go see a specialist. Many people who really do suffer from depression do not seek attention and they ignore the problem. Unfortunately, without a proper treatment, whether it's a psychologist or medication, a recovery is very unlikely. You might even want to help them find a specialist, so go and make the call in their name. Tip number 4, watch them from a side. They might not recognize some of their symptoms. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who suffered from depression, and from the very beginning I had my suspicions that they were bipolar. I kept saying that all over again, but they just would not listen to me, and they kept taking medication for classic depression. Now, if you are bipolar and you take medication for normal depression, things only get worse. So after many years of nagging and telling them to go and see another specialist, they finally did go and see another psychiatrist, and they finally were diagnosed as bipolar. They were given the right medication and the illness was finally gone. Tip number 5, don't bite off more than you can chew. If you just met someone who suffers from depression, or you're about to enter a relationship with someone who suffers from depression, you just have to remember that living with them can be very difficult. If you are not strong enough, they will drag you down. It's not like they want to do it, but it just happens. Tip number 6, distance yourself. If someone who is very close to you suffers from depression, just remember to back away sometimes. Give yourself space to breathe, relax. Take care of yourself, because you won't be able to help the other person if you get dragged down. And always remember that it might be the depression talking, not the person themselves. It is very common if someone is bipolar. They usually don't really mean the things they say. And last but not least, don't expect to hear a thank you at the very end. So this is a pretty delicate matter, but that's just how it works with depression. It's not like they mean it, but they sometimes might seem a bit ungrateful. That's pretty much it. So just remember to go and see a specialist. Just remember to stay strong, because depression can be controlled. At the end of my previous video, I said that depression can be cured. That was a pretty poor choice of words. What I meant is that depression can be controlled, and by that it can be kind of cured. If you'd like to add some tips or disagree with anything that I've just said, please feel free to do so in the comment section. That is it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, guys, and I hopefully will see you in my next video. Bye!